Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, smash, hit, destroy, obliterate that like button for us right about now. We're here to talk transfers, Liverpool, and a bit of Arsenal being the main subjects and sort of focuses for us today. Big updates from Fabrizio Romano. Big news coming out of Turkey in relation to Mesut Özil leaving Arsenal. Saliba also on his way out. Saliba on his way out, most likely to be on loan, but we've got updates on that. But Liverpool Football Club, it's exciting news, worrying news. I don't know. I want your opinion. Like, legitimately, I want your opinion on this. I really, really do. Morning, Strip Bear says, hello, folks. Enjoy the show. Remember to super chat your views to Terry. Hit the like button, subscribe, and become a member of this fantastic channel for only 99p. Look at that. Same thing, like it up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Make sure you're doing that. Look at the members here. Hit the like button, people. You got to get that done. 110%. Thank you. Let's delve into this first bit of news. We're going to put it up on the screen. And this update came from Fabrizio, but I'll share it this is from a Liverpool platform that put this out there. And I want to go through this. You'll see Liverpool do not want to spend a lot of money in the January transfer window. They are planning for something interesting next summer. That is why they are considering if there's any good opportunities they can go for. If not, they will stay. The team will stay as it is. This is an update from Fabrizio Romano, basically suggesting that Liverpool Football Club, they don't want to spend big money this month. If they don't want to spend big money, I know there was talk weeks ago, months ago, about the likes of Upamecano maybe coming in. There was a link I read about today with, I want to say it was he plays for Juve. His name now eludes me. I was reading multiple things this morning. There's a link with a Juve player. That's a 45 million deal. That's too much money this month for Liverpool Football Club. I want to throw this out there straight away. I don't even want to dissect this too much. Liverpool fans, what's your honest response to that? If you don't sign anybody of note that's better at centre-back than Matip, who can't stay fit, better than Jordan Henderson that can't play there, better than your two academy players that were not trusted in the Southampton game, what message are you picking up there from FSG? Equally, when you see this, are you thinking something else? Is your mind focused purely on the something interesting next summer? Is that what your mind is being drawn to? Is that what you're focusing on? Is that what you're thinking about? Does that suddenly become the most important bit? Is that what you're saying? Like, for me, when I read that, that's what springs to my mind there. That's what springs to my mind. And I want to know, I suppose I want to know how true it. I want to know whether you're willing to allow your club to not buy anybody this January, simply to turn around and say, well, we're going to buy someone big in the summer. What if you lose your title because of this? That's the question I want to pose to Liverpool fans this morning. We're going to open up the line soon for you to come on and have your say. But legitimately, when I say this, I would be concerned right now if I was a Liverpool fan. That doesn't read well to me. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't read well. I don't know. It leaves a little bit, if I'm being honest, a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. If I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be thinking to myself, well, we're the champions of England. Why are we not looking to sign anybody? It strikes me as awfully strange. It really, really does. It really, really does. I want your views and I want your opinions. Lincoln here, one of our obviously moderators here, says something interesting, mate. 2 signings could win you the title. That's what I find mad. Are Liverpool being done here by PR? Are Liverpool fans having the wall pulled over their eyes? Are they being dragged through the mire and then being spun a PR line? Oh, I've got an issue. What's wrong? What's the matter? What's wrong? What's the matter? What's the matter? What's wrong? What's the matter? What's the matter? What are you crying for? No, don't touch that. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. What's wrong? What's the matter? Look at the face on it. What's wrong? What's the matter, darling? I don't get what's the matter. Oh, okay. Listen. Right. Do you want me to take... Daddy's working right now. Do you want me to take you back outside? No. No? You want to stay here? Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. But look at the state here. Literally, you're a wreck. Oh, I'm joking. It's a birthday. Whose birthday? It's not my birthday. All right, I'll be back with you all in a minute. I've got to go sort out child. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Come on. Working from home, you see. Working from home. That's what happens. She's having a meltdown because she can't find her toy phone. Imagine that. Meltdown because she can't find her toy phone. But there we go. Hit the like button, hit the share button as well, people. Really important to the football terrace that you get that done. Yeah, when it comes, I want Liverpool fans' opinion. I want you to phone up. I want you to come on and have your say. We're going to share the link now. And also Ozil, the news regarding Ozil is starting to pick up pace now that a 3.5-year deal has been agreed for him to join Fenerbahce. 3.5-year deal to join Fenerbahce. I want your thoughts and feelings on that. And I mainly want that from Arsenal. I want to understand that from an Arsenal fan point of view. I really want to understand that from an Arsenal fan's point of view. I really, really do. I'm just updating the title here a little bit. We'll get that done. We're going to share the link in a few moments. Let's do some more of your comments here. I'm hitting the like button for the first time because that was cute. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It means a great deal to me. Terry, we will sign a centre-back. You may very well do, but what level of centre-back? And is this troubling to you? Is this troubling to you? I want your views and I want your opinions. We're going to share the link to call into the show now. It's there in the comments. It's now there in the comment section. I'm going to spam it in there a little bit so you guys can't miss it. I want to hear from you right about now, please, people. I want to hear from you right about now. Get your calls in. Come and have your say. First on the show, we're going to have Stephen. Who's a Liverpool fan. Stephen, welcome back to the show. What's your thoughts on these comments? What's your thoughts on these comments from Liverpool that you're not going to sign anybody, or you may not sign anybody this January?
I've seen this before, Terry. In January, we just don't sign anyone in January, and that's just the reality of it. And just but we do need. I've said it many times before. We do need it this month because there's. You put you're putting Henderson in there in the back line against Southampton, not experienced enough back there to even do what Van Dijk or Gomez did, and Matip is injured all the time, and we can't rely on him anymore. And I've just blown my face with him at the moment. And Klopp clearly doesn't like Reece or not, so putting Henderson back there, for me, I was watching it that night, and and for me it was just so frustrating just to see Henderson back there and not doing what he did in midfield, or maybe maybe the team is just going for a dip, and maybe that didn't matter if Henderson was in midfield. It's just, for me, we're going for a very, very bad patch at the moment. And Terry, I don't know about you, but a centre back is needed. But it's just the case of the club this month doing it to the right standard. If we can get over the line, because even if it's not a permanent transfer, just get a short-term loan till like the summer, till June. And then next summer, decide if you're going to buy an actual centre back in Upamecano, in big price money for the summer. But just go and buy a centre back, even on loan, you know what I mean?
You have to go and buy someone. I think for me, I understand this notion of not wanting to spend stupid money, 50, 60, 70 million maybe. But there has to be an option out there for Liverpool to go and buy a centre back who's going to improve your defensive line as it stands right now, because there is a distinct possibility that you will not retain your title. And for Liverpool just to give it up, for Liverpool just to say, it's fine, we're going to sign Mbappe in the summer, it's very Liverpool have got the money. You've got the money to go out there and buy a 25, 30 million pound back that's going to improve your team.
Can I just say this? I don't know if you noticed, Terry, we've got this new Nike kit deal. Ever since we got that Nike kit deal, ever since we were wearing the kit, it looks like we're just going backwards. And it was supposed to bring us like this new sort of way of, oh yeah, we're going to make these big summer signings and Mbappe and what have you. I haven't seen that yet.
Well, and that's because, again, listen, do you know what, Stephen, before we end your call, that is, maybe there was a bit of media PR with all of that. They made it sound like a much better deal than it really was. Stephen, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it. Next up on the show, we're going to have Mansour Ahmed, big Liverpool fan and contributor to the channel. Mansour, Liverpool maybe not signing anyone in January. What does that tell you?
It just shows that this shows that, I mean, like, I think Samuel and O'Shea kept on saying the board needs to step up and really stop looking at the financial monuments, focus on what the team needs. Because at the moment, the team is struggling for its players. It needs a centre-back. Everyone can see that. It's clear as day. I mean, last game, you just showed that we don't need Henderson in defence. We don't need Fabinho in defence. We need them in the middle of the pitch. We need experienced centre-back. And they got to, I understand, like you just pointed out before, I understand you don't want to spend massive amount of money of 60 to 70 million in January, but you can still there's still cheaper alternatives. Even getting someone who played in centre-back role, that's all you need. And we're not saying get the best defender in the world, just get someone who's decent. And it's not hard for Liverpool Football Club. You got the pulling power. You're European champions, you're English champions. I mean, you got to buy someone. You have to.
Yeah, listen, I could not agree with you more. I think Liverpool fans are having I think more and more now, football fans seem to be waking up to the kind of PR nonsense that football clubs sell them. The sort of, don't worry if we don't buy anyone this time. We've got something interesting planned for the summer. What if something interesting doesn't land? So what is a distinct possibility is this. You say you're looking at something interesting. Let's just say that interesting is Mbappe. It is Jadon Sancho, whoever it may be, right? Let's just say that's what you're looking at. But what happens if in May that player sustains a awful injury? What happens? Yeah. Then what? What's next? And this is the crazy thing, right? Which doesn't compute with me if I'm a Liverpool fan, is a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. There's actually no guarantee that summer signing is gonna get that big summer signing is gonna guarantee you retain your Premier League title. You could quite literally throw it away this year, sign this new player, and it not work. Like you're there this season. I honestly feel what's more of a guarantee for me is bringing in a good quality centre back to help you at the back to see you through this season. With where you are and the inconsistency of everybody else, you'll still win the title. Who knows when next year comes? City go out and buy 2-3 more top players. Man United improve further. Tottenham improve further. Let's say you spend all your money on this new big signing and it doesn't work. I just think it could be embarrassing. And Liverpool fans are buying too much into this PR nonsense. They did it in the summer when you Liverpool fans were told by your football club you're not getting, you're not going to go and sign. What's his face, Werner, because you couldn't warrant spending that level of money in a global pandemic, only to spend slightly less than that a few months later on. Again, right now, Jota's working out pretty well when he's fit, and Werner's struggling. We get that, but at the same time, you bought into the lies and the PR. Then I don't understand why any top Liverpool fan worth their salt is buying into another lie.
And also, Terry, you got to understand that they're saying that, oh, we got a big signing. If we don't retain if we don't retain the Premier League, or even go further ahead into the semi-finals of the final Champions League, what makes you think that likes of Mbappe would want to come to Liverpool? I mean, he'll be thinking, okay, we are the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in England, yes, but they've only won the Premier League once. What makes them going to be competitive year in, year out? They've just proved that they can't retain the title. Why can't I just join Real Madrid, where I could probably get my title? Where I could get more titles quite simply, easily.
No, I think you guys can pull big players, but I think this weird notion of giving up the season because you've got something big coming in the summer. I find it very, very weird. Listen, Mansour, thank you as ever for coming on, mate. Really appreciate your opinions. Next up on the show, we've got Zach. Zach's an Arsenal fan. Ozil to Fenerbahce, pretty much publicly agreed to and announced now. Give me your reaction to this. I wouldn't call him a legendary Arsenal player, but big Arsenal player about to leave your club.
I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later, but I'm really upset because no one gave him the proper send off that he deserved. This guy, even though you might hate him, but this guy's done a lot for Arsenal, and because he criticised some human rights somewhere else in the world, he does not get the respect he deserves. And I just want to say that this guy, he needs proper send off. But the thing is, we need to spend now to replace him, because Smith Rowe is not gonna. We can't rely on youngsters to carry us through the whole season.
Oh, 110%. You need bigger and better now. Than Smith Rowe has been very, very good the last few games, but you need to look bigger and beyond, and there's no doubt about it whatsoever. That is massively, massively needed. But of course, what should help now, and this is where you'll see the ambition of your football club. Ozil, if he leaves now, that's 6 months of his money you get back. That's 350 grand a week you get back. That has to be invested in new players. That has to be invested. When you consider that Bruno Fernandes, look how good he is. He's on £75,000 a week. 350 grand a week, if used correctly, could really improve your football team now. So I think it's massively important news. Zach, you're a legend. Thanks for coming on. We've got an old OG, bruv. An OG in the backroom area. Man like Ramsey's here from Neek Sport. What are you saying, bruv? How you doing?
What's happening, Terry? What's happening? It's been a while. I'm here, man. I'm here. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm good, bruv. Ozil leaving Arsenal at last.
Man.
On that, brother.
Boy, I mean, don't you remember? I was a big Özil fan from way back when, and it's weird. Under the Emery era, I was one of them lot calling out. He's got to come back. He's got to play. He needs to be part of the squad. But I feel like when Arteta's come in, he's tried him. It's not worked for him as a manager and his team. And sometimes the best thing, even though he's got the quality. And I know, obviously, this year we've struggled to create chances and score goals, but sometimes it's best to part ways. You know, just you lot, I think it's good for him if he goes to Fenerbahce. It's great for Arsenal because there's not that, you know, like every time we lose the game, it's like, oh, where's Özil? If he had Özil, where? If he's gone, it just lessens that talk. And it just means that we can now go and find another player. You know, I know Arteta said he wanted to shift out a lot of players in this window. If we can get Özil gone, that's massive for him because it just gives an opportunity. As you said, just on the last caller, 300 grand a week. What that money could go to is massive. Like that's 6 months of his wages gone, where we thought we were going to have to hold on to him till the summer. That's huge, and yeah, I think that's massive if we can get him gone. Hopefully, maybe at Buendia or something like that. I don't know, man.
Well, I think I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans turn their nose up at Buendia. So it's £9.1 million that you will save. There's no real talk about how much Fenerbahce will pay. I think Fenerbahce won't pay a penny for him. There'll almost be an agreement. Man United pretty much did this with Alexis Sanchez, where we said, look, don't give us a transfer fee. We just want him off the wage bill. Which is another reason why people have got to understand that net spend in its kind of arbitrary money out is nonsense. The clubs just care about removing these players more than anything else. But I think Buendia would be a really good January level signing. And then in the summer, you can look to bring in even better. And then you imagine that as your main three attacking sort of midfielders. You bring in, let's just say it's Aouar, you then go and get in the summer. Aouar, Buendia, and then Smith Rowe coming through. Suddenly then you've got strength in depth from a creativity point of view. And that's what's imperative. When I look at Man United, change in a year since bringing Bruno in, Pogba returning, and then of course, the emergence of the Greenwoods, and then you go and sign Cavani. Suddenly we look really strong with our depth in relation to our sort of creativity and our attacking options. And it only takes a couple of additional signings to do that. But removing Ozil was always going to be important. What do you make on Liverpool? This kind of such a corporate response to maybe not. If they don't sign anybody in January, do you think they're potentially giving up on their title?
Yeah, this whole notion is so weird because when Van Dijk got injured, the first thing we heard was, we're not going to sign anyone. We're not going to do it. Like we're happy with the team we got. You wonder now with the Matip injury being so up and down and him being out and about, that a centre back has to be a priority. And now you got the likes of sort of Jamie Carragher talking about it on Sky Sports. They need to sign a centre back. You just wonder now the pressure is now on for them to change their mind and go out and sign maybe and this is the whole thing what you're saying to the caller a couple of callers ago. It may be that the marquee signing was a centre back in the summer, the Upamecano, whatever it was in the summer, where you get the cheaper deal because of his contract or whatever. It might be that you might have to splash the cash now because you don't know what's going to happen in the summer, and you're top of the league. Well, kind of, yeah. If Man United don't win the game hand or whatever,
yeah, mate. I agree with you so much with this. I look at it, and I'm trying to take as a Man United fan. When I read that yesterday, my first response was brilliant. It's amazing news for City, for United, for Tottenham, even for Chelsea. They're still not that far away. That Liverpool are finessing their fans again with this corporate nonsense, and that's what they're doing. I think it's becoming more and more apparent to fans when you're being fed this line. You know, we won't be dragged over the coals. We've got something extra special planned for you in the summer. It's like parents that don't want to do something with their kids. It's like, do you know what? We're not going to go to the park today, but what we'll do the weekend, we'll do something extra special. Oh, mummy, what's the extra special thing? I'll tell you on the weekend. They don't know what it is yet. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
To us. That's all they're doing is we've got something massive planned for you in the summer. So don't be too angry about us not signing someone. But for me, if they went out now and went to, I think Upamecano's buyout clause is 50 mil in the summer. For me, if you're Liverpool and you really want to retain this title and he's your target for the summer, you say, listen, there's 55 mil for him now. Or how about 55 mil, we'll do a friendly in the summer and we'll add on an extra 2.5 to 5% for a sell-on clause if he leaves, whatever.
Yeah.
Because they need him. Like all these Liverpool fans were raving about those two youngsters that came in at centre-back. Klopp don't fancy either of them because they're in and out and switch and they missed the Southampton game. When you're playing Henderson, the best midfielder in the league at centre-back, tells you that you don't have faith in those youngsters. They've got to go and do it. And if they don't and they lose this title, we know that the Scousers, we know man like Drifty, we know man like Matt, we know man like Callum, we know they're going to defend it and be like, yeah, okay. But for me, if it was my club, I would be fuming. I'd be like, why are we just giving this up? Why? And my club did it before. When we had Rio and Vidic were injured for the vast majority of the season in the 9-10 season, Chelsea pipped us to the title by a point. And I remember the whole January window, the fan base, no one really used Twitter back then, but it was like the forum on Man United's website. We were all on there. Everyone was screaming for like signings happened. You know what they did on the forum on the Man United? They deleted all the threads. Like every day we start a thread about we must sign someone. Man United Football Club were deleting it, bruv. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, see, it was Glazer-nomics not wanting to spend, but we should have gone out. And I don't remember who the top centre backs were back then. We'd have gone out and bought one and solidified our back line. That would have been 4 titles on the bounce. And for me, that was what was frustrating. Liverpool could do something that very few teams have done, is do back-to-back Premier League titles, solidify themselves as a great Premier League team. If they don't spend, and imagine Man United pip them to it, the embarrassment for them is going to be palpable.
But also the thing is, we saw it last year with Fernandinho and Man City. Like they didn't have the player that they wanted, so they thought, "Oh, we can get through the season, play Fernandinho there most of the time." We're literally seeing a replica with the Fabinho and Henderson. It's just like you think you can just manage it because they're sort of defensive-minded players, but now all of a sudden Pep's gone and got Diaz and he's got Ake. He's brought John Stones back in. He's now making sure that he realizes that you can't just fit people into molds to get through the Premier League season because the season's ruthless. You've got to go out and get the players you want and you've got to be ruthless for it.
110%. Neil here says another PR stunt for this window saying we won't sign anyone. Klopp and Michael Edwards aren't stupid. They will sign a centre half we need to. And that's fine if they do. But what? And they might be pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, calming everyone down, then pulling something out the bag. But do you know what's mad? They need to get it done sooner rather than later. There's like, even if you sign him on the 31st of January, right? If you're doing that to save 5 million quid, who knows how many points between now and then you'll drop. This is get it done now. When you signed Van Dijk, that was intent. You got them all done on like the 26th, 27th of December, something like that. Get it done early. He was ready for the start of Jan. This whole like Man United with Bruno Fernandes, I'm happy with the deal, but we still protrude everything. Like if we'd have got Bruno from the beginning of January, we'd have had an even better season last year. Get it done soon. We're going to add some more callers in now. We've got a man like Zayn, a man like Ram here. 2 more Liverpool fans that are going to come on and have their say. Zayn, obviously you're a big Liverpool fan. What do you make of this statement from Fabrizio?
I'm not happy, bruv. Not happy, bruv.
because I've been trying to back the team. Do you get me, right? And I that business, people have been trying to give me. Do you know what I mean? I'm like a tie. Do you know what? I'm trying to keep it real, but this is too much now. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've got a serious chance of but going back to back because most of the teams have been falling off, but we're just shooting ourselves in the foot because I can see what they're trying to do. But they need to understand, you've got a plan, you've got people you want to put in the summer and all that kind of stuff. But shit happens and you've got to deal with it. And at the moment, they've been a bit naive because one thing I'm going to call out is I've backed Jurgen, but one thing I'm not happy about is that friendly game against bloody in the last game in the Champions League where we already qualified. There was no need to put in those strong players and Jota got injured, right? Now, we've been struggling to score goals. And then fundamentally, why is that? Because Jota, who was banging in goals before then, gets injured. Now, was there a need for Jurgen Klopp to put him in there? No, it wasn't. Now we've got an injury crisis with defenders, which again is quite clear to see that we're using Henderson. We need to go out there. And at the moment, I've already looked at the options. You've got Upamecano, you've got Kabak as well. Do you know what? One thing that disappoints me, we're Liverpool now, right? We're one of the best teams in the world, right? Did you know that Varane is nearing his a year and a half left of his contract? Why can't we as Liverpool go for those kind of players and say, you know what, Varane, Real Madrid's falling apart, the walls are coming off there, mate. Come over to us. Do you know what I mean? That's the ambition we really should have. We should be building on what we've got. And we're basically becoming an embarrassment, and I'm getting a bit annoyed with it now. I'm literally had enough with what they're doing.
Well, where you're coming from, Zane, there's a comment from Paul in the comments saying, we're going to sign a centre-back, everyone stop panicking. See, when you read it again, and I'll put it back up on the screen for everyone in the back, it says don't want to spend a lot of money in January. So when I say you're not going to sign anybody, I will change my turn of phrase to you may not be signing somebody of ample quality. So do not want to spend a lot of money. If you got, I mean this sincerely, right? If you go out and just sign a Connor Cody level player, I don't think that's good enough. I don't actually think Connor Cody is that much better than what you already have. Or you're adding much of a muchness in there. Like he's good in that, he's good in that Wolves system. But I think it's the Wolves system when you notice where Wolves went 4 at the back for a few games. Both him and Willy Bolly were getting exposed. It's when they're playing that 3, it's quite secure. Having him in the 2, I honestly, I don't mean it horribly about Connor Cody. He's had a good few years. He's done well when he started for England recently, but I just don't think he's going to fit your system. I don't know how good he is from playing out from the back. He's used to playing in a much more pragmatic team that have a more of a deep. They sit back a lot more. That midfield sitting back protects that back line. You put him into a Liverpool team, honestly, I think you're going to be looking at like a C-Tech John Terry-esque. Imagine John Terry without his defensive ability. You're going to get turned inside out like an apple turnover. But that's what I mean, Paul Moran, listening, a Liverpool fan. It isn't about going out and spending 50. Listen, you don't want another Stephen Corker. That isn't good enough. Like, remember when Liverpool signed him? That's what you're sounding like you're going to do. Just signing a centre-back isn't enough. You're the champions of England. You've been the best team in the world for 2.5, 3 years. Zane's right. Go and try and sign Varane. Go and get Upamecano now. Go and make a splash. Go and take a quality player away from a rival and make a noise. Be Liverpool Football Club. Stop acting like you're Everton. Ram's on the show, another Liverpool fan. What are you saying, Ram?
This just screams bad news. Like, as soon as I heard this, I'm like, why do we need to compensate for next season, man? Why? We don't need to do that. If we want to make a legacy, we need to do it right here and right now. And we're not acting like champions, bro. We're not acting like a proper champion, man.
The quote that I want to take, Apollo Creed said this to Rocky when Rocky wasn't training properly for the rematch against Mr. T, Clubber Lang in the films. He says, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. He repeats 3 times. He goes, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And it goes to a little thing of Rocky in the mirror looking at himself. And he goes, there is no tomorrow. And that's true. Liverpool fans, there is no next season right now. You have to focus on this one. You're in it. Retain your title. Imagine you lose it to Man United. Can you imagine? It's over. You will be crowned Sabantalot FC. It will happen, bro, because It'll be peak. It'll be peak.
Do you know what, Terry? You're right on that, because let's be honest, right? Everyone keeps calling about the close title races, and we've bottled it, right? Everyone says it, right? And it's just going to be another one added to the list, right? And it's got to a stage now where there will be a big outlash from the fans, right? Because obviously, you know, there's this perception Liverpool fans are classy and, you know, we trust in the process or whatever, right? But I'm telling you now, it's going to kick off big time. You lot have had it, you know, Arsenal have had it, you know, Chelsea are going for it at the moment. If we flop and don't go back to back with the team and the manager we've got, and considering everyone's not really been playing exceptionally well this season, a lot of Liverpool fans are going to be fuming, because if we lose it, like you said, by a couple of points, and all we need to do was go out and just spend the money to ensure we get what we need, it's going to be a riot. It's going to be crazy, bruv. And then you lot are just going to be with a popcorn, like, yeah, just watching the carnage, bruv. It's facts.
It'll be, and do you know what's even more would be even funnier about? And this is where you've got to protect against rival banter, because this time last year, Liverpool looked untouchable, and it was, you were so good, it made me sad.
I know.
It made me sad. But we have seen so much of that erode in the last year, to a point where you're still the best in the league, in my opinion. But like, you're catchable. You know, City right now, I didn't expect City to kick on like they have. That if City click, it's going to be peak. And you keep talking, something interesting in the summer. Who's to say you'll land those players? Who's going to leave? Let's say it's Mbappe you're looking at, or it's Haaland you're looking at. One of your current front threes. Oh, so
Firmino.
Well, okay, well, not if it's Mbappe.
Origi is going to go.
Not if it's Mbappe, not if it's Sancho. It's going to be Mane or Salah that goes. Now, because there's no way an Mbappe, a Sancho, any of these players are coming in to sit on your bench and play. They're not Werner level. They are.
Terry, just on that. Let's be honest. A lot of fans are hoping Salah goes and we get 150 mil. Let's be honest. And that's what's going on, which is a shame.
I get that. But the point is, there's no. Salah's been your best attacking
player. I know.
Yeah. League history.
Too much of a big list to let.
Losing him, and even with a bigger name, it doesn't mean. Like, I'll give you an example. Man United, arguably our best number 9 in the Premier League era, is Ruud van Nistelrooy. But you know, he won the least amount in his era at the club, because it just. And I'm not saying that takes away from him as a player. You could bring Mbappe in and score more goals than ever, but not win the league. So is that a good signing? Like, or are Liverpool going to go, or will Liverpool fans reverse it and go, instead, it's not just about the trophies, Teddy. It's not about the trophy. It's going to be more about the style. It's the style. No, it's about winning. And I just think they're taking a huge, huge gamble. We've got an Arsenal fan here whose name is Ozil out finally. You seem happy that Ozil's leaving. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, man. Ozil, he's caused some very big controversy in the club, man. Like, he's almost become a nostalgic player. Seems like fans really just care about the past. And then, like, his record-breaking season where he came up with, I think, 20 assists, 18 assists or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, clubs that are not winning anymore live in the past, don't they? I mean, all our clubs have done it. Liverpool did it for however many years. Man United have been doing it in recent, and Arsenal have as well. I think you do need, no matter how good Ozil has been or could be, a line needs to be drawn and you move on from it. Him sitting there earning $350 a week playing Fortnite, it's always bad news when you're not winning, because there's that, like, you've got this quality player sitting at home playing computer games where maybe you should be out on the pitch. I think it's a good thing that he's going. Do you have faith that your club will reinvest the money adequately?
No, not really. I mean, the only way is if we get rid of Edu, but I don't see that happening. So obviously they've already lowered the standards in making us go down from Owa to Buendia. So that's already shows some concern in how we're going to replace Ozil.
Listen, I think you're sleeping on Buendia there, my mate. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. Ian, you're a legend, mate. Thank you very much for coming on the show and having your say. Really appreciate it. Oh, look at Paul here. Oh, Mom, what's your Man United ball doing, Terry?
Leave it out, bro.
What's that got to do with anything? Like, we are talking about Liverpool's board. That's just Man United's board are doing nothing. We're dead. We're crap. We're finished. How does that make you feel better about your board's actions? That what about mate? Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Hey, what, Terry? Sorry, Terry. Do you know what's peak right at the moment? the banner I'm getting at the moment, you know, I'm getting enough banner from you. I'm getting violated, right? And it's not right because our team is sick. We've got a wicked manager. We've got an amazing team, right? And let's be honest, you lot are battling me hard, and I can't really say much back to you. I try to give my best, but I'm getting it everywhere, and it's not right because if I have a dead team, bro, yeah, fair play to get me, but we haven't.
Really,
so
what's really funny about all of this, right? What's really funny about every single element of this, right? Is from February onwards last year, we've been bantering Liverpool fans, and they won the league, but got more banter in the summer than every other club. You know what's interesting about it though, more than anything else, is you're only getting the banter because we all said it, and I don't know how seriously I took it, but I was like, I can see holes here, which I couldn't see 3 or 4 months ago, and these holes are just like they've grown. They were tiny. Now they're looking like the Grand Canyon, and it's amazing that since you become champions, you've been bantered more than any other team. Probably barring Arsenal while they're in their relegation. And this I just think you're gone, Ram. Go on, bro.
Yeah, and I was going to say the thing is, like, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, remembering the glory years, I would say knowing a team that had so many world-class players and not retaining the Premier League, I look back and think, that was our biggest. That's like one of my biggest regrets, apart from not winning that Champions League, like not retaining that league, not going for that 3-year period that we had at our peak, and looking at where we are now, I'm thinking we actually missed the boat there by just not strolling through them 3 seasons or 4 seasons or like we could have dominated. We could have gone for a period and look back and say, and we could have been in that conversation. Maybe people say who are the greatest Premier League teams of all time because we dominated an era, but because we let a couple of seasons slip to our rivals, obviously we're Man United at the time, it just kind of feel a bit like we were so great for the unbeaten season, but there wasn't like a longevity going all the way through. And I feel like if Liverpool don't retain the league this year, it's going to be a case of what could have been, and you don't want that. Trust me, you do not want to remember.
What you're saying on that, right? Basically, look, the FA Cup's a good tester, right? How serious about winning cups and medals, right? It's about you're putting your medals on the table after you've retired and stuff. We've been known for like dismissing the cups, right? The League Cup and the FA Cup generally. Like, so I know he's going to do a change. He's going to put Minamino in, Origi maybe, and all that kind of stuff, and rest on players, right? But again, if we're not going to win a title, surely we should at least get some kind of some cups and stuff. I mean, look at you, like Man U. You're going hard on this cup in that League Cup. Do you know what I mean? Because you understand that you've got to keep that winning going, and then ultimately it keeps the momentum going. Do you know what I mean, that winning mindset?
It does. And you go back to that 2004 summer. Manuel Almunia was purchased. Van Persie was purchased. But people have got to forget, when Van Persie was purchased, it was a £4 million deal. He was a fledgling. He wasn't seen when he was purchased as wow, you got Van Persie. It was like, he's talent. And I remember I was in the height of my sort of kickboxing career back then. And one of the girls I trained with, Robin, her dad, Bobby, top bloke, he turned up to the school, as we call martial arts school, the club. And he was in a fuming mood. And I was like, what's the matter with you? What's the matter, Bob? And he's like, it's Arsenal. I'm young, right? I'm only like 6, 17, 18, whatever. And I'm like, why? Invincible champions, what are you upset about? He went, transfer window's just shut. Right? He went, we signed no one. He goes, we signed a few youngsters. And look, Flamini was bought and Abue was bought that summer, but no one really knew who they were because we bought a few youngsters up and coming. He goes, but we need to make a statement. We needed to go out and buy a player of note to improve us further because everyone's going to hunt us down. And it was like, are you seeing what are you seeing what Chelsea are doing this summer? Have you seen what Chelsea have done? Like, they're going to catch us. And 2 other Arsenal fans at the school, they were like, shut up, man. Like, we're Arsenal, we'll be fine. Literally from that point onwards, you never won a league title. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to Liverpool again, but sometimes these moments can happen and it can fall away. I just think you could watch the parade go by. Man United did it similar, 99. Gary, most of you probably wouldn't, but Gary Neville's book, Red, he speaks about it in the book where he said that we won the league at a canter 3 years running. He said it, but then it almost became too easy. He went, but we didn't buy, in his opinion, looking back, any players of real note to keep us moving forward in the Champions League. And he felt at the time that we had the base to maybe win more than one Champions League with that group, but maybe we didn't improve the squad well enough to go on and do that, because when you're the champions, everybody hunts you down and you've got to do it. But Liverpool, honest to God, if they sign a Connor Cody level player, don't spend big, and then go for broke in the summer by bringing in Mbappe and selling Salah, it could be majestic. And if it is, I'll hold my hands up and say I got it wrong. But if it goes the other way and you don't keep and you stop winning things, it's going to be calamity, especially as the claims were this time 12 months ago that this was the greatest ever Premier League team. You've got to go back to back to do that. Facts, because the other teams in the conversation did it. And you could throw that legacy away by not signing correctly in January, and it would be highly, highly embarrassing. Go on, Ram.
I was just going to say, you said sign someone correctly. I mean, it doesn't have to be like 50, 45 million pound player. It just needs to be someone that fits that system. And it seems as though we're not going to even sign anyone, which is annoying me. Like, you can abuse that League One market because all the League One clubs are struggling. They need finances. Lille, I don't think everyone other than PSG, they need finances, and they've got quite a good few centre backs in there. So I just don't understand what Liverpool are trying to do here. It's mind-boggling.
Listen, finances, bro. It's money. It's money, but they're trying to put a spin on it, and they do have. I think what's embarrassing. Everyone knows that they've been hit. Everyone's been hit financially. I just think Liverpool have a reluctancy to want to go out and spend any more money. I almost feel like have they become a little bit addicted to this? We don't buy superstars. Have they become a bit addicted to we don't spend money? You know, because it's almost like they want to win it, but be perceived to be doing it in the right way. If they go out this month and spend big on another player to retain their title, it's almost like they don't want to have that connected to them. Where I think Liverpool fans, in a real, don't care. If you went out today and spent £100 million on a player that made you win the league, how many of you Liverpool fans are going to moan about it? Really?
Yeah, but Terry, you got to understand, right? They're doing a Moneyball system, right? So they're all looking at these gems, right? And they've got this conundrum at the moment, right? Because let's look at it. Van Dijk's 29. How many more good years has he got? You've got Gomez. No, exactly right. So obviously, at some point, Gomez has become the lead, the number one defender, right? So what they need to start doing now is they need to bring. They're thinking in their head, right? We need to bring a new up and coming talent who's got the key skills and attributes, using their system to work out what kind of attributes they need in a player to come in. So the next couple of years, they learn and understand what to do. So then when VVD goes off, Gomez is there, and then this player comes in, and it's seamless, and we carry on. Do you know what I mean? That's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to obviously find these bargains on these players that people are sleeping on, right, and get them early. But we're champions, bruv. We need to be making a statement. Like I said, Varane, he's got 1.5 years left on his contract. I'm sorry. Have you seen the medals he's got? Bling, you need to shade on, bruv.
I make you right. I make you right in the sense of you're champions. You want to buy big, retain your title. Maybe that isn't FFG's
exactly.
Maybe it's the case of we want to win, but we're going to do it in a Moneyball style. We're going to buy young and develop. And if we don't retain our title this year, there's a longer term plan to it. The fact but they are saying it with their message there. You know, we're not going to overspend this month, and we're not going to be dragged over there. And I told you all this a week or so ago. You'll see a statement from Liverpool very soon, basically saying how, you know, we don't want to be dragged through. And if they don't sign, it will read that clubs wanted too much money. They wanted more than the players were valued. We're not going to be dragged over the coals. We're Liverpool Football Club. We're bigger and better than that. It means more to us, and we're not going to. They'll even try and spin a line along the level of, we didn't want to disrespect you, the fans that make us this money, by overspending it and wasting your hard-earned cash you give to us. They will pull on every little string.
You know what, Terry, I will say on that, right? I hear what you're saying, but basically, I think realistically, it'll either be Kabak or Botman. About 25 million, whatever. So, you know, it's, you know, whereby, you know, they've got proven, I used to a couple of years or a year or two in men's football, you know, proper like leagues, you know, like, they may not be great Liga or, you know, in Germany, whatever, but they're proper leagues, right? So they're not noobs. They're not like what we've got at the moment, where we've got two youth players who haven't been blooded in, right? And that's what they're going to, hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that's what they do in the background, because obviously there's a Liverpool tax, right? So they're trying to be, you know, clever or in their minds, where we're not going to say too much, because if people get win, suddenly it's going to bump it up another 10 million, 15 million, blah, 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 because we're Liverpool, right? So that's what I'm secretly hoping. But I'm telling you now, there's going to be a big backlash come the end of this window, and we don't get one of those, Botman, Kabak kind of players in. Fans are going to kick off big time, and especially if a performance going like that as well, mate.
But that's what I think. That's what Terry was saying. That's what Terry was saying earlier with the Timo Werner thing last year, where it's like everyone knew you wanted to get him, but you kind of wanted to play it down, wait till this clause comes in, and then you wait. You think you're gonna do because you've got the German links with Klopp and all that sort of thing, and then someone comes in and says, right, I want him now. I want him and I want him now. And if that happens to Liverpool's key signings, it's like it all just gone to pot. And because you're the champions, everyone's looking at you. Everyone's looking, okay, right, the champions want to sign a player. We're ready for whoever's going to come in, and we're not going to make it easy for them. And that's the problem where the Man Uniteds of the past, of the old, and Chelsea in the next day, where they said, you know what, fine, we know we're the champions. We know that everyone's going to ask, but here's the money, and we want it, and we want it now. And if they're already saying that they don't want to spend money, it's like you think we're idiots. The clubs that you think we don't know you want these players, so we're going to hold.
Exactly. And there's a comment here, and this is an interesting one. I love it. Terry acting like Matip, Gomez, Jota, and Van Dijk don't all start for this team. Well, they can't all start because you don't play with three at the back, but I get your point. Acting like it's a natural regression just shows he's biased. Well, there's two things. Liverpool's regression, and I'm talking about games lost, games drawn, being opened up for teams having more opportunities against you in open play than before, have been on the regression since the 1st of February 2020. So prior to Gomez and Virgil van Dijk picking up their injury, prior to Jota even being at the club. So it already started. Equally, Man City had a couple of bad injuries last year. Those players are now back. They haven't picked up at the same level of form they did from 2 seasons ago, because most teams, when they are on absolute fire, it lasts 2-3 years tops. And there's always a drop-off point. There's always an element where they go backwards. And then it's about rebuilding and rejuvenating. Sometimes it's because players are past it. Other times it's almost, I don't want to use the word boredom, but it's sometimes you just need to take a player out. Man United did it when we took out Ince, Mark Hughes, and Kanchelskis. It wasn't like they weren't good enough. It was, we need to add new blood. The team needs rejuvenating. With Liverpool, you also started the season off, by the way, with a proper pre-season by, Leeds opening you up. You got slapped by Villa. You weren't looking amazing before that. But the problem, I think this is with some Liverpool fans, is you've got to wake up and just smell the coffee, that you haven't been scintillatingly world-class for nearly a year now. You're still the best in England, but the problem is your trajectory is going downwards. You need something. You need another Van Dijk moment for someone to come in and just, boom, give everybody this new impetus, because some of your rivals are on an upward trajectory. Now, this isn't opinion. This isn't eye test based. This is factual. Whose points per game is on the rise and who is going low? Liverpool need to turn it around quickly. And if they do, without signing anybody, I'll hold my hands up and say, wow, what a great turnaround. But I think something needs to happen. I really do. And the board know that fans want the players. That's why they're releasing these statements, and they're throwing in that, we might do something nice next year for you.
Terry, what I want to say, right, is, there's one thing about this Werner situation, that there's a thing about, Liverpool fans are sorted, right? But one thing you have to give credit to our recruitment is that typically for the past, few signings we've done, like, compare Jota to what Werner's done, right? You can argue about, he's in with a manager, he doesn't know what he's doing, the team's dysfunctional, whatever. But fundamentally, yeah, they took too long and Chelsea came in, whatever. But whoever Liverpool brought in, their plan B or whatever it was, has delivered above expectations of what the fans were thinking, right, okay. So, and obviously my problem is that Klopp messed up by getting him injured in a meaningless game, right? And that's really pissed off a lot of fans as well, right? So we have faith in our recruitment, because it's much better than a lot of teams where literally we typically seem to get things right, and Klopp does give these players time. He's very like, you know what, if you're not ready yet, I'm not putting you in there. When you're ready, you go in there. So there is that balance. But as you come to, and what our fans are getting frustrated with, is that we're not a developing team anymore. We're at the top. Everyone's looking at us now. Everyone's trying to knock us off the perch. So we have to go in the market and get someone big now. We have to make statements to let people know, you know what, we're here to stay. Because at the moment, it's looking like, you know, we like to win, and it's not right, man. Because us fans, man, we waited ages, years for this, right? Years and years for this, right? And we're getting bantered. That's not right. That's peak, bro. Do you know what I mean? We're top dogs, and we're getting bantered, and that's not right, man. We need a couple of years off enjoying it. Do you know what I mean?
Zane, two things. You're top until next Wednesday when Man United.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Look, banter. No, violation, bro. No, it's not right.
And equally, bro, you can never get away from the banter, bro. You can never get away from the banter.
Not this level as champions. I'm telling you, Rams. When you were running things back in the day, you did not get this level of banter that we're getting.
And I'm seeing all this stuff.
Disrespect.
Terry, show me an example of another team that's had their three main centre-backs out injured when they've been champions. You may not find it, again, you're becoming very kind of narrow-minded. You may not be able to find an example. I'd have to research it. Off the top of my head, I don't know. But I know for a fact that every season the champions lose a player through injury, generally speaking, because most clubs do. I've seen Man United go through the 09-2010 season. I know Vidic and Rio were out for large parts of the season. We didn't have a recognised high-level right-back at that point. Gary Neville was past his best, and Wes Brown missed a lot of that season. We had youngsters playing in the likes of Raphael and Fabio in that position. So that's one example. And we did miss out by a point. But you know why we missed out? And this is the thing. Liverpool Football Club, you're right. Part of your regression is because of player injuries. But you're acting like your club can't resolve that this month. And that's the thing. Man United fans didn't go, no, it's unfair that we had injuries. Chelsea shouldn't be given the title because it's not our fault. It ain't Fergie's fault. It was Man United, the club's fault. We relied on two aging players in Rio and Vidic and didn't replace them. We had a January transfer window. We didn't replace them. In the summer, in that same summer where we lost Cristiano Ronaldo, right? We replaced him with Obertan and Michael Owen. That's the club's fault. There are no excuses. If Liverpool do not retain their title, there isn't Man United getting penalties, irrelevant. You getting injuries, only irrelevant because your club didn't buy enough backup. You let Lovren go and didn't bring in anyone to replace him. That is your fault.
You know what, Terry? On Lovren, man, honestly, on Lovren, I'm glad he's gone because my heart attacks I had when that brother was in the team, bro. It wasn't good, bro.
Yeah, but he didn't replace him. Yeah, but he didn't replace him. And
exactly. But we've got the money, right? We've got the Nike deal. We've got the new training complex we've got. AXA paid for that, right? So we've got money there. It's not like we ain't got money. We've got the Champions League money. We've got the winning title.
FC. Listen, boys, I got to end the stream. But everyone who's tuning, thank you. I enjoy the banter. Liverpool fans, calm down. You're going to win the league. You're going to win the league. You are going to win.
Chester. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to be about 4 or 5 o'clock-ish. We're going to be going live, previewing the Manchester derby tonight, getting people's views and opinions on that huge game for Ollie, really. It's such a big
game. Is Ollie going to win?
Don't know.
Yes or no?
I doubt it. But we'll preview that on the show later. We're not going to give that away now. Do me a favor, everyone who's tuned in, smash the like button, hit the share button as well. Ozil to Fenerbahce seems like it's imminent. Will Liverpool sign anybody of note? Hopefully. Anybody of note in January? And are Liverpool fans accepting of that? Hit the like button, hit the share button. Good to have you back on, Ramsey, my mate. And we'll speak to you all again soon.